Have you ever felt like you've traded your inheritance of peace and potential for a digital hunger that never ends? What if the distant land we've traveled to isn't a place, but a state of mind that has left us bankrupt and hollow? Once upon a time, there lived a man of immense stature and wealth. His estate was a masterpiece of life. Terraced vineyards that smelled of fermenting grapes. Olive groves that shimmered like silver in the wind. And a home that breathed with the scent of roasted grain and aged cedar. He had 2 sons. The elder was a pillar of the system, a man of cold duty and predictable rhythm. But the younger son was restless. He looked at the vibrant beauty of his father's world and saw only a cage. He demanded his inheritance early, a request that was a social death blow, and turned his back on the gold-leaf sunrise of his home. He traveled to a far-off city, a place of neon-bright distractions and high-velocity pleasures. The air there smelled of heavy perfumes, expensive oils, and the metallic tongue of coins changing hands. For a time, he was the center of a swirling, colorful chaos. He spent his life force on things that felt like fire in his veins, but left no warmth in his heart. He gorged on meats seasoned with rare spices, and drank wines that stained his lips purple, believing he had finally found freedom. But a great famine settled over that land. A dry, systemic cold that turned the gardens to dust. He spent all his inheritance. His friends vanished like mist at high noon. The music stopped. The perfume was replaced by the sour, stagnant smell of the pig pens, where he eventually found work. He sat in the mud, the cold mud of a foreign land, watching the swine eat better than he did. His stomach was a hollow ache, and his skin was caked with the gray ash of regret. He remembered the smell of his father's house, the simple, honest scent of warm bread in the cool, steady shade of the oaks. He realized that the freedom he bought was actually a debt he could never pay. He began the long walk back, his sandals worn to nothing, his feet bleeding into the dry earth. He didn't ask to be a son. He only hoped to be a servant, a small cog in a stable machine. But while he was still a long way off, the father saw him. The father did not wait for an apology. He ran. He broke the dignity of his age and ran through the dust, his robes snapping in the wind. He didn't see a failure. He saw a living soul returning from the dead. He threw his arms around the boy's neck, the scent of the father's expensive oils mingling with the stench of the pig pen. The father called for the best robe, a heavy silk garment of deep crimson and gold. He placed a ring on the boy's finger, a seal of restored sovereignty, and ordered a feast that shook the foundations of the estate. The air was filled with the smell of the fatted calf roasting over almond wood and the sound of music that had been silent for years. The lost was not just found. He was reinstated. This ancient journey is the blueprint for our modern collapse. We have all traveled to a distant land. We have squandered our inheritance of attention, time, and health on a system that promises infinite expansion, but delivers only a famine of the soul. We are the younger son, sitting in the digital mud, realizing that the progress we were sold has left us starving. We feel the shame of the wasted years, the squandered potential, and the fear that we have gone too far to ever return to a state of balance. But the Father in this story is the system of grace. The world is waiting for us to stop running. The famine we feel, the inflation of our costs, and the deflation of our spirits is the signal to turn around. We think we have to earn our way back into a healthy life through more work and more debt, but the truth is simpler. Restoration doesn't come from the elder brother's logic of earning. It comes from the radical act of returning to our roots. Your inheritance wasn't the gold you spent. It was the sovereignty of your soul. You are not a debt to be collected or a failure to be managed. In a world that wants you to stay in the pig pen of endless consumption, the ultimate act of rebellion is to realize you are already entitled to a seat at the table. The reset isn't a punishment. It is the moment the machine stops and the life begins. The moral: you cannot fix a broken soul with the same logic that broke it. Sometimes the only way forward is the long walk home.